So I would say welcome to DevFest once again. And it feels good to be here, not just as a speaker, but also as a learner like you. So I must say it has been an enlightening experience. DevFest keeps getting better by the year. So please, can we give a round of applause for the DevFest team? Thank you very much. Yeah, my name is John Ohio. I'm currently the design systems lead for Seamless HR amongst many other things. But most importantly, I'm a user experience designer. So who's a user experience designer? I am. Do we have user experience designers here? Nice, nice, nice. All right. For those who don't know what user experience design is, a user experience designer is someone who collaboratively creates useful, effective, and relatable solutions for people through products or services. These products could be physical products, even actual products, but it's meant for people to use to solve people's problems. And in order to solve these problems for people, first you need to be able to we demystify the problem. And to demystify the problem, you need to identify the users or the people facing this problem, interact with them to understand how the problem affects them. That way, we'll be able to pinpoint their challenges and creatively design solutions that fix these challenges. Shikina, and that's where design thinking comes in. Today we'll be talking about design thinking for problem solving beyond UX design. So we're talking about design thinking, but not just within the confines of UX design, because yes, UX design, it's the framework or the idea of design thinking is quite popular in the UX designer space. So now we are going to be seeing it just a little bit beyond, outside the box of UX design. So if you're on LinkedIn here, can you raise up your hand? I expect everybody to be on LinkedIn. We are techies, so and we are here to network and connect. So if you are on LinkedIn here, raise up your hand. Okay? I'm on LinkedIn too, so you can connect with me, John Ohio. And like most of the people here, I do have on my LinkedIn profile, as one of my skills on my LinkedIn profile, design thinking. And I bet most of you guys here has one of the skill sets in their LinkedIn profile, design thinking. If you do, raise up your hand. Now people are shy. You see, so it's safe to say we are all design thinkers, or we are all design thinking specialists or experts. So I'd like to get insight from one or two people to tell me what they think about, to define design thinking for me from their perspective, or tell me, just give me their own perspective of design thinking. Who wants to go? Okay, I have somebody. You guys are shy. All right, can you come?
No, can I? Oh shit, so weird. Okay, so
Come to the stage. Since you're the only one that raised your hands, come to the stage. Let's come and be my speaker for the day for 2 seconds.
okay. Hi everyone. So design thinking, it's kind of like it's a huge topic, and when you talk about design thinking, you can say something like, for example, we are all looking in this hall, and this part of the hall is empty, while that down part of the hall is full. So that creates a problem, and you can now say, what is the problem? And the problem, trying to solve that by design, you can say, how do we solve this problem? That part of the hall is full, here is not full. So you can now start to say something like design thinking is the ability to analyze a problem. When you analyze a problem, give solutions to the problem as a designer and try to prefer experimental solutions to try and solve that problem. Now, we are all designers, like true, but in our everyday lives, we try to analyze problems and to solve them with solutions. I think thinking about the problem on its own, you can say that's design thinking.
Interesting. Interesting. Thank you very much. Wait. I would like, come, just stay with me for a moment. We would interact. So, you see, he defined design thinking, and the concept of design thinking, thought leaders in design thinking, like IDEO, they are like the leading research and problem-solving firms in the US, and they work with the big league, the big boys. If you go on their platform, they are rich on design thinking. They have so much resources on design thinking, and I will share their link with you before I go. And you see that there's no one definition of design thinking. And if you see all the definitions that they have of design thinking, it all revolves around the same themes, around the same topic. So as we go today, I would actively and passively define and give you fresh perspectives on design thinking. All right, so today we'll be talking about what is design thinking, which he has already started, and we'll compare the frameworks, principles of design thinking beyond UX design, then we can conclude and start to interact. If you have questions, if I have questions for you, then we would flow like that. So now, what is design thinking? You already defined it. Now imagine that you're a doctor. What do you do? What's your name? Please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Kingsley. I'm a product designer.
All right, you're a product designer, you see? All right, today now, for a moment, you're a doctor. Let's imagine you're a medical doctor. I'm a patient, and I come to your hospital.
God forbid.
So I'm your patient, and I come to your hospital. Yeah. All right? And the normal routine is you get to the clinic, they take your vitals, some quantitative information about you, your vitals, your weight, your temperature. Then I come to see the doctor. Now, the doctor already has context, some quantitative data about this patient. Okay, this is how, but now he needs qualitative data on this patient. So imagine you're a doctor. What would our interaction be like? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you're on the spot. Yeah. So what would our interaction be like?
Okay, so imagine I'm a doctor and you've provided me details of what is the problem. So my first interaction would be to analyze all the details that you've given me. And with the details that you've given me, try to actually find out what actually the problem is, because I already have some level of knowledge in terms of looking at your symptoms, in trying to get what you're sick with.
All right. See, you
God
get the drill.
You're not sick.
One way or the other, most of us would have met with the doctor. So if you go meet the doctor will not just say, okay, oh, you have a headache or your stomach hurts, take this drug, go. It doesn't work like that. First, the doctor wants to understand, wants to meet with you to know, okay, say, okay, how can I help you today? That is usually their first question. Or what is wrong with you? They want to get your perspective as to how you feel. Because 3 different patients could come with stomach upset or headache, and the cause of these issues might just be totally different. Right? Right? So, that interaction, asking the questions, get context, it helps, and also with the experience of the doctor, the technical know-how of the doctor, and that empathizing with this patient to understand how they feel, what is wrong with them. That way they can deduce what the potential cause of this problem is. Then the next phase is they'll most likely say, okay, let's run a test. Right? So these tests, there are so many tests that can be run. But because of the information you've given this doctor, now the doctor knows the kind of test they will get you to run. So this information, this interaction back and forth gives the doctor, the patient and the doctor collaborate to help the patient feel better. Then that way you can say, okay, run this test. And when the test comes, the test now validates what the actual problem is and how they would solve it. Shaking, and that's design thinking. We can actually close at this point. Now we understand what design thinking is. Thank you, my doctor.
Thank you so much.
So that summarizes design thinking. This is a definition or a articulated definition of design thinking. As much as he has defined design thinking, so design thinking is a human-centered approach to problem solving that integrates the needs of people and iteratively creates solutions through empathy and experimentation. Design thinking teaches us to explore the space between identifying the problem and delivering a solution. Because if you listen to how the definition they gave and me explaining the work of a user experience designer to interact with the people facing this problem, the back and forth will help us gain insight into the challenges they face and how the challenges affect them. How we can creatively design solutions that fixes these challenges. Right? See this process. That's the space between identifying the problem and creating meaningful solution for this problem. Solutions that are useful to the people, they can relate with it because it is easy to use. Because if I create a solution for you and it's not relatable, then what's the point of the solution? It's not a solution. All right, so that's what design thinking helps us do. And we have several frameworks of design thinking. Yeah, there are several popular ones. And one of the few popular frameworks of design thinking is understand, build, test. The most popular one is the number two: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. If you check a lot of user experience designers' portfolios and case study, you see this guy here, it is always in it. All right? So some designers would have double diamond. Even the double diamond principles is founded within design thinking. So another framework is inspiration, ideation, implementation. And the beauty of this is all these frameworks, regardless how the framework is structured, they all speak the same language. They all have the same principles. The core of what they are basically the same. Whether framework one has understand, build, and test. Now, this first framework, understand, build, test, the first phase is to understand what the problem is. Because you can't solve what you do not understand. All right? First, you understand, gain insight into the user's problem, build, create prototypes or solutions based on the insights you've gathered. Then you test these solutions we've created to solve the problem. Now, testing is very critical because in the testing phase, you validate and refine the solution through feedback. And the beauty of the testing phase is not just to validate, it's for you to learn. To learn based on feedback from the people you've created this solution for. So the learnings could either be validating your assumptions or gaining new insights as to how to iterate on the solution you've created. And the next framework, which is the popular one, empathize, ideate. Empathize, you define, ideate, prototype, and test. This is very clear. It's the broader and more detailed flow for design thinking. Because, like I said, the first framework had understand, build, and test. Now, this breaks it down. First, you empathize. And empathy is key in design thinking. So, empathy helps you understand the user's needs and experiences. It helps you relate with the user or relate with the person, the people facing this problem. It's pretty much like relating with them to understand how they feel. So if you understand how they feel, then you can pinpoint and define these feelings. Brings us to the definition, where you frame the problem. Because if you don't understand something, you cannot define it. And that's what it is. So now that you've been able to define what the problem is, that way you can ideate for potential solutions to this problem. Because you've related with the people facing the problem, you've defined what the problem is, now you are brainstorming range of solutions. Now these solutions, you now prototype the potential solutions that would solve the problem. When you prototype it, then you test. You test to gather feedback from these people that you've interacted with, that you've created a potential solution for. All right? So it brings us to the third framework. There are so many frameworks for design thinking. All right. So the third framework, inspiration, ideation, these are just grammar. Yeah? They all mean the same thing. All right? So though the steps may vary in their names or the order at which they are arranged, but the essence of design thinking remains the same. Because at the core of it is to understand the problem you are solving, the people you are solving the problem for, yeah, and creating working efficient solutions for them. So if we compare these frameworks, yeah, one thing that is very recurrent across these different frameworks is that there's a stage for empathy and understanding, there's a phase to ideate and build, and there's a phase to test and get feedback. All right? Because all models, they start with deep user insight. Because this problem has people at the center of it. Are the ones feeling the problem. And if you can identify the fact that people are the ones feeling the problem, you have to create solutions for them by ideating, building, then give it to them to see how they use it. Give it to them to see if it actually fixes their problem, if it fixes all their problem, or if there are outliers to their problem that it didn't fix. You learn from that and you iterate on that. That's pretty much how to solve people's problem. All right, whether it's design, whether it's medicine, however and wherever. I wish I could see my notes, but I think it's a technical issue, so we'll continue. Now, principles of design thinking. All right? So, the core of design thinking goes beyond whether it's the framework, because the framework where you have empathy, define, idea, this just helps you have a structured idea to the concept of design thinking. But design thinking, in its truth, is that design thinking is a mindset. It's an approach to solving problems. So, and the principles of it is, for every time design thinking is used to solve a problem, the core of it cuts across these four. It is human-centered because acknowledging that people are the ones facing this problem. So start with empathy, because to understand the next person sitting with you, you have to relate with them. So problem solving is a relational exercise. It's not, you don't just come with the idea, okay, I know the solution to your problem. It doesn't work like that, because you have to relate with them to understand how to solve their specific problem. And it's an iterative process, because sometimes the first solution may not even work, or the first solution may not cover the full scope of the problem. So you learn, you iterate on it. That way you'll be able to cover gaps, identify gaps and cover them. It's also collaborative. Any framework you use, like the scenario I gave of the doctor collaborated with their patient, ask questions, get feedback to know how to help this person. All right? It is collaborative and it creates room for creativity, because now that you've been able to identify the problem, the people facing the problem, and you have options as to how you can possibly solve this problem, then you can be creative with your options. All right? And like I said, empathy is the cornerstone of problem solving. Yeah? Because it is human-centered, and the best way to understand people is to relate with people. And you can't relate with people successfully without empathy. You cannot be rude to relate with somebody. So you have to understand them. You have to relate with them. You have to want to be interested. So to be a UX designer, you just have to be a kind person. You have to be a loving person. So UX designers in the house, give a round of applause for yourself. So we are lovers. We spread love. All right? So empathy is the cornerstone of problem solving. And empathy is generally described as the ability to take on another person's perspective, to understand, feel, and possibly share and respond to their experience. Yeah? There's a saying, now who wears shoe, know where they pain them. So if you don't interact with them, you say this shoe is fine, but the shoe is probably hurting them somewhere. Until you interact with them, then you know how it hurts, where it hurts, and you can identify what can be done. Maybe to change the shoe. You can change my shoe for me, please. So, yeah, design thinking beyond UX. All right. Now, design thinking beyond UX design, right? Because, like I said, UX designers made design thinking is more popular around the UX design space. But UX designers as problem solvers, yeah, we design these solutions. That's why it's popular amongst it. But I must say, if anybody that solves problem, yeah, successfully, however they do it, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a carpenter or a furniture person that creates furniture for people, you are solving problems for people, whether you are an engineer, to solve people's problem, and you solved it successfully, one way or the other, you've applied design thinking. You probably don't know, but you've been able to solve people's problem. You relate with them. You identify what they need. That's design thinking. So it goes beyond just pushing pixels or designing tools. It's generally a problem-solving framework. And it's not like it's the only problem-solving framework. There are, in any space that you use it, if you are a UX designer, an engineer, yeah, design thinking is the first layer to understand what the problem is. So once you understand it, that's when you can now introduce the techniques and tools, tactical methods. For a designer, that's when you start introducing Figma to design tools. That's when you start introducing other approaches like system thinking to think about the problem from a wide space. That's when you start to introduce strategic thinking to see how everything fits well into the other. But first, you start with design thinking because people are at the center of it. All right? So design thinking can be applied across industries to create solutions grounded in empathy and real user needs. Because most problems in this world has people inside it. Because if people are not feeling these problems, then the pressure to solve them will not be there. Like, if our government has practiced design thinking, they would understand our challenges and they will know how to solve it for us. But I think some of us here would be in rooms where we have to employ design thinking to solve national problems. So don't forget to introduce design thinking in environments like that. Design thinking helps you focus on the human aspect of every problem. And like I said, majority of the problems we have, people are the ones feeling the brunt of this problem. So if you can identify the people facing the problem, that's the first step to solving the problem, because people would actually be the ones to agree with you that this problem has been solved. So if you identify people facing the problem, you can relate with them to solve this problem. Yeah, everyday design thinking. Let me see my time. Well, I still have time. All right. You see, this is a pedestrian walkway. All right? I think this walkway could be in Lagos or Abuja. I'm in Abuja, so we have a lot of walkways like this. Okay, all right. So you have a better view of the walkway. All right? So this walkway is in a park. Yeah? And you expect it was designed following a perfect blueprint. Yeah? We have the green areas, we have the walkway, we have where you can sit. All right? And if you notice, let's say I created the walkway, I'm the engineer. By the way, I was a civil engineer. I transitioned into UX design from civil engineering space, so I can relate with this. So this walkway has been designed perfectly to match the perfect blueprint of the walkway. All right? Then when people started using it, this is the version in Lagos. Lagosians, they didn't follow the walkway. They have nobody go tell them what they go do. All right? So Lagosians, they improvised their own walkway. They left that part because this way is quicker for them to get to their destination. All right? And the managers, they come back, they fill up that space because it's defacing but they will still come back after a few months, improvised again. You get? So there are options there to barricade the place, but it will deface the environment. All right? So they brought me in, because they know that I'm a nice guy. So I said, instead of this back and forth, let's try to understand why they are following this way, right? Then, because for people to follow this way, that means it's obviously a lot of people, some people use the normal way, but these outliers, these special people, they would go through this part. So let's improvise this way for them. Let's meet them halfway. So once they created a temporary walkway to test how people would use it, they realized that people are using it. So it solves the problem for some people that want to go this way. All right, so now the first walkway we had was by design. Perfect, because you assume that this is how people should walk. They should walk straight line and they do sharp bend because they are moving like vehicles. But now people behave like people. Sometimes you can't predict people. You have to relate with them. You have to meet them halfway. Now this is where user experience comes in. You are matching their behavior. Right? All right. So now that you've created it, now because you've tested it and you see that people are actually using it, so it's solving the problem for certain type of people, then why not have a walkway there? But I just hope another person will not start walking like this. And that other person, maybe you take the person to Yaba left. So that's like the general concept of design thinking. Like, because you have people in it. So meet them, understand why they are doing what they are doing. If it's meant, if it's because of normal behavior, just relate with them. And empathy is key in this action. So design thinking isn't just about making things look good or even making things work well, right? Because even that walkway, it's working well, yeah? But it's about connecting deeply with the people using these particular solutions, whether products, whether services. It's meeting the people, the end people using it. That's what design thinking is all about. Connecting deeply with these people's needs to solve them, all right? This should be familiar to you guys. Who, who can relate with this picture? The brands on this picture. All right? We have Netflix. We have Apple. We have BlackBerry. All right? Who can tell me what they think about this picture? What's currently now? What is their perspective seeing this picture? Just by seeing this picture, what they think about the brands in this picture? Anybody? All right? BlackBerry is dead. Who kill him? Yeah. So BlackBerry is no more. All right? And can somebody from your own knowledge or understanding why you think BlackBerry is no more? Anybody? I still have time. Should I call names? All right, please.
Just from the explanation you gave us, we aren't keeping up with the user's need as time passes.
Perfect. And that's what it is. You are not keeping up. All right? See giants like Netflix and Apple. They're still here today. And they're here today not because they are still the way. I just saw a familiar face and I smiled. All right? They're still here today not because they are still the way they were when they started, but because they evolved. All right? And that summarizes it. Like Netflix and Apple, they thrive because they stayed connected with their users and they kept innovating around those insights. And let me give you a small insight into the Netflix story. Yeah, who knows Netflix, please? So I will not. What can you tell me about Netflix? What you know about Netflix? Anybody? Huh? Who wants to go? It's a streaming service. Yeah. But they didn't start as a streaming service. They started as a DVD, CD alien company. So it's a rental service. You rent CDs, they deliver it to you. All right? But because you started seeing trends, user behavior, how people would like to be serviced, they had to evolve with the people. They had to start bringing, instead of you waiting for the CDs to come, they brought it to your house. So now, with the way Netflix works now, it's basically, if a show is coming, they will give you update as to how the show is coming. You don't need CDs anymore. You stream online. So they caught up. They related with the people to understand the user needs and how they can evolve with the people. Because at the core of every service, product, or solution, you have people in it. Because the solution you are providing is for people. So identify these people, know these people, understand these people. That way, you can create better solutions for them. Even Apple. And the beauty of Apple is a design thinking giant. And it's either you're an Apple person or you're an Android person. And Apple focused on Apple people. They are not bothered about Android people. All right? Because Apple just focus on the people that like the beautiful things of life. You get? People that like the beautiful things of life, happy people, you understand, right? So they focus on that niche market and they evolve with them. Because they know that you like beautiful things, they will give you beautiful things. All right? So it's about understanding the people you are serving their problems. Yeah? But this my guy here, he lost the way because they missed out by sticking to what they thought was best instead of adapting to what people wanted. And that's like the summary of it. All right? I would have said let's do a moment of silence for Blackberry, but it's all right. Yeah, so I guess I will conclude here. All right? I had a lot to say, but technical reasons, and I think it even gives you more time in case there are questions that needs to be answered. So, design thinking transcends traditional UX design. It's about solving people's problems, identifying the people facing these problems, creating useful solutions for them, but most importantly, connect with them to solve the problem. All right? Even when the problem is not solved, you will have a clear reason why it wasn't solved by the way you went about solving it. So it gives you more perspective. So it's a learning experience. So you and the people involved, whether the stakeholders or the people who are collaborating to create the solution, or the people facing the problem, there's connection. You understand where you are at, what the challenges are, and how to go about it. And empathy is key in all of this. Empathy, collaboration, creativity. It's an iterative process. You create, you test, you see how it goes. Just like that loop. And that way, that's the best way to create solutions for people. And it's applicable to various sectors, including education, healthcare, businesses, urban planning, like the pedestrian walkway example, even as much as your furniture. Let's say you want to create you need new furniture in your house, and you meet the furniture person. Oh, I want to create this. I need furniture in my house, and he tells you, say no more. 2 days later, he brings something for you. It doesn't work like that. They need to understand what you need. What type of chair do you need? What type of furniture do you need? So that way you can relate to know that you are solving the problems for these people, the size, the color, how it functions. And that's, in short, we have design thinking is at the heart of everything we do when we are solving problems for people. And at this point, I rest my case. Thank you for coming to my Dev Fest talk. Do you have any questions for me? All right. How many questions do I have? 2? All right.
Hi, my name is Charles.
Hello, Charles.
I'm a UI UX designer.
Nice meeting you.
So I've had a scenario where, it has happened a couple of times where I'll go to the doctor and then I don't even know what's wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to tell the doctor. Oh, doctor, this is wrong with me. That is wrong with me. So what if the same thing happens to a user that you're trying to solve their problem that they don't even know what the problem is? So how do you deal with a scenario like that?
Okay. Thank you. I could go 2 ways. Let's say the doctor. You went to the doctor because you are feeling a type of way. You may not be able to define what is wrong, but you'll be able to define how you feel. You'll be able to say how they do you, where they pain you, right? That's where those information, no matter how vital, how little you think they are, interact. Now, coming down to solutions, the other approach you gave me. A lot of times, people don't even know what they need, right? Until you present them with possible solutions, right? Because it's 2 ways. People with problem coming to meet you to solve the problem, or you identify a problem and you want to solve it for people that don't even know they have that problem. You see? So the first one, the person thinks he knows the problem. 2, you have an assumption of a potential problem that needs to be solved. So you create a prototype that fits your initial assumption. But your assumption is a potential solution. It's not the final solution. So now you present it to this person, these people who you think are facing the problem, for them to relate or use this solution, however the solution is, whether it's a service, whether it's a product, physical or digital product. You present it with them, and you observe. It's like I said, it's a relational process. Relate with them to see how they are using it, if it's actually solving the problem, if there was an actual problem in that space. So that feedback would help you iterate. It gives you perspective. It's a learning process, right? It helps you learn how they relate with how they relate with the solution to this problem that you think they have. That way, it's either you validate your assumption or you gain new perspective. Kagane, you get me? All right. Okay. Oh, I think he has a question or contribution. Huh? Contribution, all right. I figured it looks like somebody that wants to contribute. I'm coming.
Great question, actually. Thankfully, doctors are a lot more trained in their field compared to us designers that are trying to learn, make the most of the resources we have. But to add to what he said, you'll notice that even when you are unsure, the doctor, because of his training, would still ask you to carry out some tests. They'll take your blood samples and all of that. And a very important aspect of design thinking is testing, like he showed. And so that through that test, the doctor is able to determine. Another important aspect is you being able to ask the right questions. Nobody expects you to have the answers, all the answers, but you should, as a designer, be able to ask the right questions. And I'll use this as a very, very shameless plug to invite you guys to my own session tomorrow, where I'll be talking to you about the power of curiosity and how asking the right questions can help you uncover insights. Yeah.
Definitely. I will actually implore you guys to go for that session. Gives you perspective, because if you don't ask the right questions, you can't get the right answers.
Okay,
right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
my question is,
What's
is
your
it
name,
possible
please?
to? Okay, my name is Gania Karim.
Okay.
Is it possible to move? Probably you have an idea that can solve a problem among adolescents, and because of the financial constraints, you want to start with analog. The end product is a digital product to solve the particular problem, but you figured out a way to carry out an analog kind of a physical activities with the adolescent first. Is it possible to do that? Then look at how they interact with it before you then use that feedback and evaluation and assessment to pitch for the digital
Yes.
part of this.
Yes is the answer. Because with solutions, yeah, solutions are not finite, yeah. The first initial draft you have may not even solve the problem. So that's why, because to create solutions, you have to use up resources to create solutions. So even in UX design, we have we call them fidelities. We have low fidelities, mid fidelities, high fidelity. And just as that works in design, it can work outside design too, right? You can have prototypes. You can have dummy prototypes. I don't know the field of this space, so I don't want to just streamline it to digital products, yeah? But the most important thing is have a semblance of that particular prototype, yeah, and see how people relate with it. If it moves the needle, then that means you are onto something nice. If it doesn't, then you can come back, re-strategize, come back again, test, and just improve on it. And that's the best way to go, and it's called going lean. Yeah, so your MVP doesn't have to be the big product, doesn't have to be the big digital product. You can start small as long as that potential solution actually addresses the problem. So how it solves it will now help you learn as to how you can scale up that problem. All right, and don't forget to ask the right questions. All right. I think there's somebody here too. Oh, I answered your question. Oh, he answered your question. See, go for his session. We're coming for you. All right.
Hi, my
Hi.
name is Grace.
Hello, Grace.
Okay, so I wanted to ask something concerning getting tight deadlines as a UX designer.
Come again, please.
Having tight deadlines, maybe you're given 3 days or 1 week to design this website.
Okay.
And now that AI is taking over most of the tech fields, I want to ask, is it right because you have this tight deadline, you can't carry out user surveys, you can't really carry out research the way you would if you're given ample time. Is it right if you get the assistance of AI to get an idea of what you're
Yes.
designing?
That's why they created AI in the first place, to assist you. It's not to take over your job, it's to assist you. All right? Now you have the technical know-how. So AI helps you move faster. AI gives you new perspectives. AI help you move with speed of more than 3 people. Right? So it's perfectly okay to collaborate with AI to speed up your process. All right? All right? I still have 2 minutes. All right. All right, I have 2 minutes, so we have to wrap be fast. Yeah. Okay, wait. I have 2 people and 2 minutes, so stand up so that both of you can stand up so that you can ask your questions and I answer it as I leave. Yeah, I can hear you. 1. You guys heard him, right? You're laughing. What's your question?
My question is about your design process.
Okay.
There are some people that would read the documentation and just jumps.
Voice louder so
Sorry.
that they are about to kick me out of the stage.
Okay, there are some people that would read the documentation and jump straight into high fidelity, while some others would draft user flows, information architecture. So I just wanted to ask what your suggested process would be.
There's no design process that God gave us. That's the truth. It's about solving the solution. Some people go in a structured process manner, yeah? But the process is a mindset. It's the approach, how you move towards solving the problem. So if you want to go by low fidelity, high fidelity, and because you have the time and resources, why not? But if you can hit the nail on the head with your high fidelity, go ahead. It's about solving the problem, but be able to articulate how you went from problem to solution. Shikina. And my guy, it's okay to tell them no. I'm not saying you should tell them no. I'm saying it's okay to tell them no. All right? So it's all about the space, the relationship, and the things at stake. You understand me? So it's okay to say no, but there are so many ways to say no without saying no. All right? All right, guys. I love you all. All right. Thank you.